Hello and welcome once again to Answering Atheism, brought to you by your good friends here at abitoforange.com. As we are answering atheism, we have also begun to answer the question, what proof is there that God does exist? Well, here's another one. Life on Earth. To explain this one fully, we have to look at philosophy before we look at biology. So, causes. Why something is the way it is. When you observe anything and you ask, why is this way? There's only three possible answers. First, it is necessary. The thing in question could not have been a different way. It has to be that way. It is necessary that that thing is the way it is. Natural. There is nature plus time. Specifically, there is some sort of natural starting condition, and then the laws of nature, physics, chemistry, biology, act over a certain amount of time, and it results in whatever effect you're looking at. Third, intelligence. A choice of will acted. Somebody thought, they planned, and they acted. So, there's an apple tree. Why does this tree grow apples? And why is there a sign on it that says apple tree? Riddle me this, Batman! Well, here's why. So when contemplating the apple tree, there's only three possible causes. There is necessary. The apple tree grows apples because it is an apple tree. If it grew another fruit, it wouldn't be an apple tree. Thus, this is a matter of definition. A better example would be the question, why does a triangle have three sides? Well, it's necessary that a triangle has three sides because if it didn't have three sides, it wouldn't be a triangle. There's no way to answer that question to find a process by which a two-sided shape becomes a three-sided shape, or somehow a square devolves into a triangle. A triangle has three sides because that's what a triangle is. It is necessary that a triangle has three sides. Secondly, there's a natural cause. The apple tree grows apples because it's an apple tree following its genetic instructions and making use of sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and other minerals. Thus, this is a matter of natural law acting over time. So our initial starting condition was there was an apple seed from a prior apple tree. It got put into the earth somehow, whether planted on purpose or accidentally. So the laws of biology acting over time says this thing will grow and sprout, and following its genes, it will create apples because it has the genes that codes for apples. It's an apple tree, and it's following the laws of nature in making apples. It's a perfectly natural thing that's explicable with the laws of nature acting over time. Third, we need an intelligent explanation because there's a sign on this tree. There's a sign that says apple tree on this tree because someone painted that sign and hung it on the tree. This involves specified complexity and or irreducible complexity because that shows planning. There is no natural way by which the sign that says apple tree could have accidentally come about. The odds against a sign being made by accident, by dripping paint or worms eating through the sign to create a recognizable English phrase is so unlikely that it's reasonable to call it impossible. Thus, the only rational explanation for that sign is an intelligent will. Somebody thought, they planned, they acted, they decided that there should be that sign, and they wrote it and they put it there. Now the biology component. Let's talk about DNA. Now, in one sense, DNA is information, but in another sense, it would be more accurate to say DNA carries information. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is a molecule. It's made of sugars and phosphates and bases. And in a sense, DNA is like paper and ink. A book is made of paper and ink, but the information isn't made of paper and ink. The information is conveyed by the paper and ink. Similarly, the information in the genetic code is not made of DNA, it's carried by the DNA. Now, the information in DNA is a language, and it has all of the same hallmarks as written English. It has letters, in this case, the chemicals of adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, the letters A, T, C, and G. It has words. A three-letter combination of those bases is called a codon, and then it carries meaning. A codon codes for a particular amino acid. So, a particular three-letter codon codes for a particular amino acid. DNA can be translated. You can translate DNA into RNA, and then messenger RNA is translated into an amino acid chain. DNA carries purpose. It exists for the purpose of creating proteins. So in terms of the protein coding genes, the purpose of those cells is to create the functional structure of the cell. There are, of course, a lot of other genes and other information in the cell that doesn't create proteins. It's like the operating system of your computer, where you've got a lot of information on your computer that doesn't make a Word document or an image or any kind of file, but it controls all of the different functions that allow those things to happen. The key thing to note here is that every living cell carries information. All of the cells in every plant or animal, every single-celled organism has DNA, and it has lots of information coded for, because that's the purpose of DNA, is to carry that information. Well, how much information are we talking about? Is it possible that the information in our various cells or in the different living organisms came about by accident. Those 4 letters just accidentally got shuffled into the right order to code for whatever it is. The smallest collection of DNA for any organism belongs to Carcinella rudi, a type of bacteria. Carcinella rudi only has 182 genes. Genes are like chapters, so if the DNA is a single book, the chapters are the genes. Carcinella rudi has 160,000 base pairs, which sounds like a lot. In fact, it is a lot. If you were to print that out, so just the A, the T, the C, and the G, just print those out in the order that they're in, it would take 50 pages. So if you were to take Green Eggs and Ham, take out all of the illustrations and text, and in the place of the story, just type out all of the letters of DNA in Carcinella rudi, it would fill that entire book. Top to bottom of every page, every single page. So the question for the atheists in the audience is, if there was a book the length of Green Eggs and Ham, even if you disregard the illustrations, in fact, let's just keep the original story so that it is not nearly as many letters as are found in Carcinella rudi. If it's just the story of Green Eggs and Ham, without the illustrations, 50 pages, could that have been made by accident with no intelligent intervention? No guidance, no thought, no mind, just nature. Could nature have created 50 pages of Green Eggs and Ham with no Dr. Seuss? The answer clearly is no. But let's take a look at all of your cells. Your DNA, the human genome, has about 20,000 genes. So the book of you has 20,000 chapters in 3 billion base pairs. If you were to print it out, your DNA would fill 250 copies of the 7-book Harry Potter series. By which I mean, your DNA has as many letters in it as this many copies of the Harry Potter series, wherein each G represents the entire 7-book series. And every single one of your 3 trillion cells has all of that information in it. This much information in every single one of your cells. Once again, is there a natural process by which we could say, yes, that process could create this much information? Even if you start off with the 50 pages of Carcinella rudi, what kind of accidental process, unguided natural process, could change Green Eggs and Ham into 250 copies of the Harry Potter series without the kind of misspellings that kill the organism? At every stage it requires an immense amount of planning and thought, and it demands an intelligent designer. So I hope this look at the argument from design has helped clear up why atheism is ridiculous. Thanks for joining us here at abitoforange.com. We'll see you next time. Oh, and remember, Jesus loves you.